Zoom's been a very big company. It's kind of popped off, especially within the last 2 years, but their stock hasn't been doing too great lately, and they're seeming like they're losing quite a bit of traction. The stock is down. I'm looking at the 1 year chart right now. It's down over 75% in the last year, and it's down 55% year to date. So a lot of people have been selling out of Zoom. The company does make money, but their profit margins are not good considering, the amount of people that they have using their service. I'm looking at their net profit margins, about 4 or 5%. Net income is extremely low relative to the amount of revenue they generate. So they generated 1.1 billion in revenue, but net income was only 45 million, which fucking sucks. That's a net profit margin as of the July filing. That's 4.16%. So that's really bad for a tech company. So obviously, I would imagine they're probably investing quite a bit into R&D and into developing their systems more. But Zoom is a particularly weird case because you have people who are very bullish on it. Kathy Wood is saying it's a $700 stock, and she says that's her conservative estimate. The stock's currently trading at 81. And I'm just sitting here and I'm thinking, what type of innovation does Zoom have? How can you justify the current valuation of $24 billion if the company just exists in a format where they're pretty much just pairing people on video calls? I mean, Microsoft Teams is a thing. Most corporations use Microsoft Teams. They use Skype, video call or whatever, or Skype Messenger. They're not fucking, Zoom people were using, but it's really just WebEx. It's like slightly better WebEx that doesn't crash as much. But Teams is I think better because there's Outlook integration built in. So when you go in Microsoft Outlook, which is the email software that most companies use, all you have to do is you just go to your calendar and then you could click a button to create a new Teams meeting, and it'll automatically generate a link. And then you input the, attendees' email addresses, or you could populate that based on like a contact list email report. And then that's it. You just hit send and it's pretty much integrated seamlessly, and there's not really too much to do. And when you compare that to Zoom had a problem with these people joining like random people's calls and like fucking around. And the other thing is that I think the stock is in the toilet because there isn't really any good level of innovation. The innovation's pretty linear. There's nothing exciting about video conference calling. It's not a new space. It's nothing innovative that Zoom is in itself is doing. And who would pay for the service when you could get it for free? It doesn't make any sense. Microsoft Teams, Microsoft got kind of smart with it. You could actually buy Microsoft Teams, like the base level model of it, for like $4 a month. And most people are like, who gives a shit, $4 a month? And they pay for it. So, I think Zoom is like kind of fucked. I don't know where Kathy Wood's getting that $700 number from, but I think she's pretty silly in doing so. I think money is better invested into, potentially biotech companies that have more upside, or even something like Bitcoin, or just something better than that. Really, Tesla, especially, or like a company like Apple. I don't see any reason why anyone would want to invest in Zoom at this point. Doesn't seem like they have too much going on for them.
Well, Zoom is gonna zoom down to the gutter because it's trash. The Zoom has poor video and call quality. The connectivity issues with Zoom are a huge problem. You can't like delete chats in Zoom. That's another problem. And the security of Zoom is also a huge problem. You have the New York Attorney General going after Zoom for in regards to their security measures on the platform. And SpaceX is not allowed to use Zoom because of their security measures, because since they're a federal government contractor, and basically Zoom is banned at SpaceX. So that says a lot about the security measures being put in place at Zoom. And Zoom is not a sustainable company. It's there's a bunch of other companies that are that have much better suitability, like as you said, Microsoft Teams, SpaceX, not SpaceX, WebEx, and Skype. And the Zoom bombings you mentioned too, that's another problem. You have all these weirdos coming into your calls and basically hijacking your conversations. That's another issue that Zoom has. And Zoom just has like a whole bunch of issues. And I don't think they're going to be able to solve these issues, and I don't see why Kathy Wood said Zoom would be this valuable. I mean, it's a commodity, as you said. You have all these other companies competing in the space, and they charge too much for their service. Well, why are they a 24 billion market cap company when you could get the same service for free through other means, and you don't have to pay to use the service? I think Zoom is basically, at this point, if you invest in Zoom, you should be prepared to lose your money because it's a commodity. It's totally nonsense. They're not even making any money. They're losing money on every quarter. Oh no, they actually make money. I take that back. They make money.
They made that 4% that I was talking about earlier, but it's still nothing. Like you look at revenue, the revenue is 1.1 billion, and then the net income was only 45 million. Like that's horrific. You're a tech company. You don't have any physical locations, and if you do, obviously you should close them. Software engineers don't need office spaces. There's nothing that you can do in the office that you can't do online. So why would you ever put yourself in a position where you're this company like Zoom and you had this sudden influx of capital coming in through the because they did additional share offerings, right? And they were able to raise equity, to sell equity and raise capital. But like, I don't understand. Like, how are you not more profitable? Like, trim the fat a little. We get you're a growth company. You're investing in R&D, but there's no reason why you need any of these brick and mortar locations or you need commercial real estate, leases and part of whatever you're working on. Like, it's just dumb. Like, get out of all that bullshit. Let everyone work remote, and that's it. I mean, you're Zoom, right? Like, if you truly believe in the software that you created, you'll use it to let people work remotely. If you think it's shit, then continually have people go into the office. Like, it doesn't make any sense.